When my septic system failed dramatically a couple of months ago, I reached out to get bids from local land workers, and I found Joe Creamer, who's right in the middle there, and his son on the right. Joe Creamer and Sons. Their business is right here in town, in my small town in rural Maine, in the coast of Maine. And they came very highly recommended, and I've learned why since they've completed the job. They do an excellent and very detailed job. What failed was the distribution box, and it backed up all the way to the septic tank. So those of you who live in the country, you know what that means, and you can see my septic distribution box was gummed up, and the pipe all the way out to the septic tank was completely plugged. So on day one, they came out with their excavator and removed all of the vegetation and a certain layer of dirt to get down to a baseline layer. So here they are removing, there's a big bush there on the left and all of the vegetation. They haul that off, take it back to their site where they process it, let it sit for a while to decay, for all the vegetation to decay. Then they process it and screen it and bring it back to either my site or another site at a later date when it's all been processed. So they establish a grade here, and you can see he's holding up a pole there to figure out the laser level for the first grade, and that's where you get your first inspection. So an inspector came out at some point and verified that that was laid out properly. And here they are again doing more measurements to make sure it's all done properly. Now they're bringing in sand and building a berm around the entire area. Truckloads and truckloads of sand. You can see the berm building on the right there now. So this is second day, and he's finishing out building the berm. Lots of big trucks full of sand, and beautiful and delicate work with the excavator there. This is Joe Jr. doing most of the work, and Zach driving the truck, the two boys. So once you've built a berm around the system, and there they are checking levels again and finishing out and detailing the edge of the berm, the next step is to fill in the interior section and get it leveled out, and then put a layer of crushed rock, which you'll see coming up. Right now they're putting loam, which is pronounced loom in Maine for some strange reason, 4 inches of loam on top, which is the dirt on which vegetation will later regrow, of course, and they will be planting seed on the part that I want to go back to lawn, and then I will be planting clover on that loam. So here we are, day 3. He's finishing out the berm on the left and putting some loom there. Now he's scraping up the original dirt before he puts sand in there to mix the dirt and sand together, and bringing in the gravel, which is actually called crushed rock. In different parts of the country, different things are called by different names. You can see they're holding up the laser level there to get that graded perfectly so that the pipes can sit perfectly level. This is the distribution field. This is where all the leach liquid coming out of the septic tank gets distributed out onto this gravel once it gets buried, of course. So he's still finishing out the sand level on the left, and then he'll finish out the gravel, as you can see. They're laying the pipe and gluing all the pipes together. The box right there that they're placing is the new distribution box, which is where the fluid will come from the septic tank and come into that distribution box and spread out left, right, and center into the leach field here. So at a certain point, when they've got this pipe all laid out, the inspector from the town office will come out and approve that they've leveled it. And here they are checking level again with their laser level to make sure it's perfectly correct. I'm not sure. I think that was the moment where the inspector was there. They're double checking and shimming it up, chinking up the gravel to make sure it's the right height, or crushed rock as they call it. Now they're covering it all the way up to an inch above the pipe with crushed rock. You can see the fresh crushed rock is a darker color here. So this is the end of day 3. Day 4, now they're digging out the septic tank, the original tank, which of course needs to be replaced as part of the whole replacement. That's the guy pumping out the tank before they dig it out. So they destroy it in place first and then just dig the whole thing out. It's made of concrete. It's a 1,000-gallon tank for my 2-bedroom home. So once they've dug it out, then they need to kind of really clean up that hole. Again, they're going in there with their laser level to get it just right. so that when the new tank comes in, they can just lower it into place, and after a couple of tests, they will get it perfectly set in place. So this is the first try, and they're finding that it's not quite right, so they clean up the hole a little bit, lower it down in there, and that's perfect. Okay, so now they can fill the dirt back in around it. They're actually using sand. Back to the leach field, they're putting ground cloth over there so that fluids can't wash down into the gravel, and the dirt and the sand won't wash down into the crushed rock, is the proper term. So they're putting sand on top of that now. So the whole leach field gets covered with a whole bunch of sand. I forget how much, but I think it's specified in the plans. I had to hire a earthworks septic systems designer who evaluated the soil and designed the system and gave the detailed specifications of all the heights of all of these materials, so they're perfect for the right drainage. Now they're bringing in more loam, or loom as they say it in Maine. This is another 4 inches of dirt for growing the clover that I'm planning to plant here. And they're raking it in nice. They really do a detailed job on this. Everything that they do is immaculately finished. Day 5. Now they've got the, this is the distribution box right in the foreground, and the septic tank is in the background. They're putting in the pipe, so they trenched that out. They're putting in gravel over that, and then they'll replace the dirt and sand very quickly in this time lapse, but it takes all day to do that. So now they've got that all filled in, covered up with sand, and final step is to put in more loam to cover up all that dirt and sand, and all the way back. Now they're working their way out, so that's covered up the old septic tank and all the way out to my driveway. All new loam here. Now they're going to go in there and spread seed, and then rake it in a little bit to make sure it kind of takes into the dirt there. Then they'll come out and spread some straw, which is a conventional practice after you've planted seed or set seed. And that's basically it. So now this is a time lapse showing several days after they've completed the project, where the grass, if you look in the background section there, is beginning to green in. We had a rainy day or two, but I've been running the sprinklers around the clock, morning and evening. So many thanks for Joe Creamer and Sons. They did a fantastic job.